Hey guys, let's talk about Philadelphia and how to get around public transport across Philadelphia. Who am I? I'm the CEO of Orukka. Orukka is a smart payment ring that allows you tap to pay wherever you are. Shops, public transport, everywhere. Okay. So we came up with this, I think, the other day when last year, when one of my friends came to London to visit me, and then he came out of the underground station, and then he got stabbed, and someone grabbed his phone, wallet, and ran off. Okay, so that got me angry, got me thinking: is there a better way we can walk around without flashing our phones, flashing our wallet, and private information out there? I came up with this on a ring. You could tap to pay wherever you are. Okay, so that's cool. That's interesting. But right now, I want to talk about how you can walk around in Philadelphia safely, how to pay for transport safely, public transport, and how you can move around the city as well. Again, for visitors, if you live in the city already, this might give you some hints, types on what to do, how to get around public transport. Again, a city of 1.5 million people, everyone can be on the road. Yeah, I know we have good cars in America. Everyone's nice. People need to get on the road, but you could do that over the weekends, okay? But then if everybody drives to work every day, 1.5 million people, it's going to be hard. That's where public transport come. But let's talk about 5 ways you can also pay for the public transport with the most cost-effective way among them. For each one, I'm going to talk about the positives and the negatives, okay? So you decide. Let's start with, again, how you go around. So right now, I think in Philadelphia, there's quite a few ways. You can use the metro. Okay, so the metro, again, is subway for those in other cities. The subway that takes you from A to B, okay, again, goes underground, so it's really, really fast. It goes shortest distance without having to go through roads, and traffic lights and all that. So that's important. There's also trolleys. So the trolleys are the surface ones, okay? They're surface lines that go across Route 15 and quite a few routes as well. And then there's Norristown, I think Norristown High Speed Rail, right? HHSL. It's a bit of a mouthful. And then we also have then, I think the most famous as well that you guys have, again, come there several times, SEPTA. So SEPTA, I think, was one of the coolest names ever for public transport. I found out, I'm like, wow, everyone should have a name like that, okay? Until I found out what it means. So SEPTA actually means, it stands for Southeastern Pennsylvania Transport System or Transport Authority, SEPTA. It's no longer cool, is it? But it was cool when you didn't know what it meant. So SEPTA is a cool name, and they run most of the trains, most of the subway, most of the buses as well. It's huge. I think they're the sixth largest transport authority in the nation across USA. So that's cool. The fact that they can run all that, okay, and that helps as well in terms of going from A to B, okay, and hopefully because of the trains. So let's talk about how to go from A to B, the quickest route possible. You can go with cash. So cash is king. That's the first way. Okay. Most people argue, okay, cash, people's good, you can use it. No one knows where you are. That's true. That's where cash is king. And however, it's not as convenient. Okay. So that means they only accepted in quite a few buses across the suburbs. And you have to have the exact change. So if you showed up to pay for cash and then you need to get change, the bus drivers don't walk around with change. So it's almost impossible. So what you need to do is make sure you have enough change. Make sure you have it counted as well. I can tell you. So people get angry if you have to go in there and actually count your coins in front of people and there's a queue behind you. The bus driver itself, they've got a time to go to. The train has to go and then you'll start there counting your coins. So make sure you have it ready and then you pay the exact coins, dimes, nickels you need to pay, and you're done. I think the ability of having control is important for cash. If you have the coins and it's annoying you, okay, you can also pay it as well. That's where the convenience comes in. Other than that, I wouldn't recommend it. Okay. Next point, I think, is the local SEPTA card. So SEPTA card, I think, is really cool. I've said already, SEPTA already, they control the trains, the subways and everything. So you having them is important, especially for the buses as well. So that means you can go from A to B on the same card. It also means as well that you can tap to pay. So there are limits. I think it's up to $10. Anything over $10 is free. So that's important as well. If you're a child, I think between 0 to 15, you also get a discount, if not free. So that's where the SEPTA card comes in. Okay, so those are things you get to enjoy, especially if you're if you're in Philadelphia for more than 6-7 days. It's important to have a card where you get discounts, where you get offers as well, and where their limits approach, especially if you're traveling a lot during the day. So that's where that's important. But just the downside of that, just what noting is that you need to pay $5, $495 for the card, and which you won't get back. I mean, people say you can, so there's a way around it, right? So what that means, you need to register your details. You know what I say about that, right? So if you're registering your details, so you're selling your information. That's what you're paying for. for the 495. But that's one thing. The second point is if you have $20 and you upload $20 into that card, that's gone. Right. So it's a closed loop system in the sense that you can't use the card to pay for anything else. Okay, it's a plastic card, almost like a debit card, but you can't use it to pay for food. You can't use it to pay for anything. You're stuck with using that cash. So that's something to watch out for as well. The sense that it's not being used. So that's a negative of that. So the negative there is that the card can only be used for trains, for buses, for transportation, not for coffee, not for food. Okay. And that's where your bank card, credit cards, debit cards will come in handy. Because if you pay your debit card and credit card, it's the same convenience. You can still tap at turnstiles. You can tap to get into the train. You can tap to leave as well. You can tap to get on the bus, and that's it. Okay, so it's the same thing as having a SEPTA card with your bank card. Again, there's no app to sign up to. You're already with your bank. Okay, so that's something I'll recommend as well. I think that's better than your SEPTA card, effectively. Because if you have £20 on your card, you tap the £20, you pay. Oh, and then you have change left, so you don't have to go back and hand the card back and hope to get a discount in the future, or hope to get your refund in the future because you haven't used it. You can tap, and that's it. And then you leave the country and you use it anyway. Okay, so that's important that you can also use the cash in other ways. It's open loop. It's already with the bank. Okay. But the downside with that, okay, I'll show you my bank card. The downside then is the fact that if you have a bank card, okay, and you tap with this card, imagine this is your card. If you tap with this card, you have to tap out with the same card. Be careful with that. That's something to watch out for. So if you tap with this card and then, you forget, which is always the case. I forget a lot. So if you forget and you tap out with another card, I have 12 cards here. So that means if you tap with this card and you tap out with another card, you're charged twice. And it's hard to claim those things back. So that's something to watch out for. That's card clash. And so if your card clashes because of that, that's a problem. And sometimes you try to tap in and then you tap in like this, and 2 cards get charged. That's something to watch out for as well. So be careful with the card clashes, okay? And make sure that wherever you clash or wherever you tap in. The second point as well to watch out for is the security. So we've got, I said already, there are 1.57 million people in Philly. The bad people out there. So if I walk around with this, I put this in my pocket, there's a risk of being robbed. I've talked about the theft at the start, okay, with my friend who got stabbed. It's better now, by the way. They narrowly missed his lungs. So it was better, I think, after 2-3 months in the hospital. But be careful, guys. Your life is not worth these plastic cards. I wouldn't recommend a wallet for that. So for me, that's why we have our ring. So I don't walk around with this. Okay, I'm only doing this for video. Normally, everything I want to spend is on a ring. Okay, so be careful with that. Then the other point as well is card scheming. So that's another prevalent thing in cities these days. People walk around with a POS terminal and then they tap on your card and take money off. Take $10, $20, very small amounts, and that's something to watch out for. I suppose one way then to watch is then, okay, if you avoid cards, you can use your phone. So you can tap your phone, similar to pay with your watch, so with your ring or your payments, also tap with your phone. So you could go in there, tap on the train ticket. On the train ticket, there's always going to be a round turnstile or a bus as well. You would have to be specific. Okay, and I'd recommend that. I think the only downside with these things, in case you don't know, is the battery life. Right? So my battery life is currently 10%. This is 15% because it's gone. Okay, so the battery life is very big in these things. That's one downside where I wouldn't recommend using this, especially if you're a tourist, especially if you're in a meeting or you've been at work all day. I'm telling you, unless you have a charger at work, battery's gonna go. Okay, so I wouldn't recommend relying on your phones or your Apple Watches for payments, clearly because of the risk of battery going. Also the risk as well of these things being snatched. Okay, so I've said this already. So I've got my phone here where I've got 140,000 pictures on, including all the private information I have on this phone. If I walk around with this or I pay for this on the train, the next thing I'm going to do is to keep holding it. It's usually what you hold it. You don't just pay for it, use it and keep it away. Naturally, we hold on to it. So that's the concern I have with using a phone. While I would recommend, obviously, our ring. So I would recommend our ring because just tap to pay. You're not going to forget this. When I walk around with this, no one knows what it is. Okay? So I tap to pay at the train station or a bus, just go this way, and then you hold on to it 2 seconds, that's your pay. This number one is stylish. Your Apple Watch can't be as pretty as this. Right? Style is number one. Number two is the convenience. Okay, that means you can tap to pay your bus, train, ferry, anything across Philadelphia. Just tap to pay wherever you are. If you're getting a taxi, you can also tap to pay on the taxi. Okay, so the convenience is what you can't go over. Security as well is important. Again, I've said it already, it's conspicuous. No one really knows what it is, even though it looks pretty. So that's important. And secondly, if anyone steals it, block it on the app easily. And then lastly as well, you can spend it wherever you are. So unlike your SEPTA card, where you can only use it within transport, you can pay for your transport, go out and then buy food as well. Okay, so the ring is versatile. You can use it everywhere. I'm going to put a link to the SEPTA card, obviously, if you choose to. I'm going to put a link as well to the authorities as well, just to check out and look for your transports and how to pay. But I've already said 5 ways to pay. Obviously, you know my preference. My preference would be the ring. I also put a link on how to order your ring as well. Okay, maybe some discounts as well for my followers. Take care. Talk to you later.